So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made the embellishments for my birthday dress, as you can see. Okay, so you're welcome to Style with Bloom, and here we're going to be going ahead with how to make these 3D applique embellishments from scratch. Okay, so at this point I was putting hemming gum. Now there is a big hemming gum like this, 4 inches wide. Okay, and then there is also horsehair braid that is measured in yards. That's like 60 inches long and 36 inches wide. Okay, so here I had that, and then you can get your organza or organdy fabric for this part, for your main fabric. Okay, so at this point, your horsehair braid or crinoline first, your hemming gum in the middle, and then your organza or organdy fabric on top. Okay, and then you go ahead and you press. So you can see me just pressing this. You press until they have fused into each other. Now this is called lamination, fabric lamination. Okay, I want to get a stiff version of this fabric, so I am laminating it, and the crinoline is acting as what helps me harden the fabric. Okay, the hemming gum is the glue here. So here I was cutting. You go ahead and cut. Okay, you cut and you get the desired length of fabric. Okay, so what you can see me using here was less than 1 yard, in fact less than half a yard. Okay, so after cutting, you flip this to the other side. Now remember that on the other side you have crinoline again. Okay, and there's no fabric covering it. You take the hemming gum, place on the crinoline again. Now if you don't have this wide hemming gum, you can use your regular hemming gum. Okay, and then you cover that part with another piece of your organza or organdy fabric. You go ahead and repeat the process and you press. So if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure you pause this video and go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on more tutorials like this that are coming. Okay, we are also on Facebook and Instagram at Style with Bloom, so make sure you follow us and be a part of our community. So you press, and after pressing, if you have any parts to trim, you go ahead and trim. Now you try to make sure that you avoid hemming gum touching your iron. You can see that happened. Try to avoid it so that you don't get your pressing iron stained. Okay, so at this point I was just trimming off the excess and any part that was rough where the fabric and the hemming gum and crinoline did not align into each other. Okay, so I ended up with a hard or stiff fabric laminated. Okay, now I got my pattern for this, so you can draw any pattern of your choice. I got my pattern for this, and I was trying to cut this in the fastest way possible because I was quite in a hurry. So you can go ahead and fold like I did, place your pattern on it, and that gives you 2 pieces of the embellishment or the 3D applique immediately. Okay, so at this point I was pinning the second pattern. Okay, and then I went ahead to cut. So you can go ahead and cut this according to the pattern you have placed on top of it. You might not need to add seam allowance. I did not add any seam allowance to what I cut here because of the purpose of what I was doing, or because of what I was doing with it. Okay, so I didn't add any seam allowance to it. You go ahead and cut this like you can see me doing. So here I was done cutting, and the next thing was to embellish it. Okay, so you can use your cup chain. There are different types of cup chain you can use for this. Okay, so I used the single one, silver. So you can use whatever you want for this part. You can even bead. Okay, so I used my B6000 glue here, and I was just using it to stick this cup chain to the embellishment. Now I used a full cup chain for this. So I got a full pack of cup chain, or it comes in rolls, a full roll of cup chain, and I used the full roll for this. Okay, so at this point I was just using my soldering iron to secure the edges. Now your fabric can tend to be rough at the edge or want to even fray, so you want to make sure that you apply heat to the edge. Okay, now if you don't have soldering iron, you can use a lighter. Please don't burn your fabric, but you can use a lighter to do this even before you attach the cup chains to this, or before you stick the cup chains to this. Okay, but for me, I saw that the soldering iron was one of the easiest ways to go about it without burning up my fabric. So you heat up your soldering iron and you carefully just burn up the edges so that they do not fray. Okay, so basically that's what I was doing here. At this point I was done with the applique and I began to put them on my dress by pinning and using needle and thread to hand tack this to any part of my dress that I wanted it on. Okay, so I was done with this, and this is what we had at the end. You can see how beautiful that looked on that dress. So this is one of the ways you can use it on your dress. You can use it in any way, any creative way possible. Okay, I hope you learned something from this, and I hope you can apply this to your dresses in this season. So don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel on YouTube and off YouTube for more like this. See you in the next.